Welcome to the next My Little Pony podcast, and today we're doing a deep dive on Trixie. She is astounding, wonderful, she's great and powerful, she's got tricks up her sleeves. Today we're going to talk about all that and possibly more, maybe even some theories or ideas you may not have heard of. Today I have with me two wonderful people. First is, you know him, you love him, watch his content, Scooter Tricks.
Hello, hello.
And we also have joining us the wild, the untamed, the artistic, and maleficent. I should have said magnificent. Yeah, it's fine. I'll keep maleficent. Mama Seiko.
Yo, what is up, my diggity dogs?
I don't know who she is. Anyway, so yeah, so
Shout up here.
So I have here with me Mama Seiko, who has watched the entire series, but doesn't really have an opinion on Trixie too much. Like, it's more of a okay, she's a character. In my opinion, Trixie's pretty
Right.
cool, but I don't know. I feel like there's certain departments where I like her, and there's others I don't. And then we have Scooter Tricks here, who believes she's above the average, like way above the average. So we're gonna start by talking about Trixie's appearance in the show from like the first time she came to Ponyville.
Okay.
Okay, so let's
Well,
go. Yeah, with the person who loves her the most. Let's go.
so
All
as a
right.
Trixie fan, I do have a lot of critiques of Trixie. Um, so okay, so I do think she can get annoying. She does have a lot of flaws. I think her writing also is not great a lot of the time. But the big thing about Trixie that I love about her is that she has a lot of implications and she has a lot of potential to be really, really good. There is a very old analysis video. It's probably long gone by now. But it was by a guy called Tommy Oliver. And he made this video about Trixie and why he thought Trixie was a popular character. And he basically made the argument that it all came down to her quirk of saying her name in the third person. So you see the first episode that she's in. First time we see her, first scene we see her in, she's on stage and she's like, the great and powerful Trixie will do this and that and all this. And she's using the third person. And you're like, okay, this is like a stage persona, it's like it's for the act. But the second scene that you see her in, when she's in private, she's with Snips and Snails. It's like, oh, Trix isn't like you. Go get Trixie a drink. Come back and see Trixie in the morning. She's still using the third person. So you're like, oh, okay, well, it's more of like maybe a character quirk thing then. Like a cartoony, sort of a fun little quirk type thing. But then you see her in the third scene with Ursa Minor. And in the scene where she's desperately trying to fight off this monster, and she's like in life or death, fight or flight mode, Trixie starts using the first person. She says, I can't. I never did. And what this means is that the third person thing is something that she's consciously doing. She knows that she's saying her name in the third person, which means that this whole episode she's been wearing a mask. And in this last scene, when she's lost all composure and is not thinking of keeping up appearances, the mask has just slipped. And we're seeing the real Trixie for the very first time. And the big question, of course, is why? Why is she wearing a mask? And this is where that's the implication. And then some of the potential, like the possibilities are endless. Typically, the idea is something along the lines of she had some sort of tragic backstory where she loved someone or is very trusting of someone, and this trust was completely shattered or broken. And so now, the reason why she uses the third person is it acts as kind of like a shield or a shell to keep people out or away. She's kind of mean to people. She's very like outgoing and kind of, putting people down because she doesn't want people to get too close to her, to this soft inside. And so essentially Trixie kind of works as a tsundere type character, where the basic thing with tsunderes is like they have a very tough, aggressive outer shell, but inside they have like a very sensitive internal side. And the potential fun you have of a tsundere character is they have this built-in character arc where you try to break down this shield and get into the core of her, and if the character succeeds, she opens up and becomes more of a confident and uh, confident in how sensitive she is, basically. So that's kind of the gist of what this analysis video was about, and I've definitely gravitated towards this quite a bit um,
Yeah,
as a basic sense.
I like that
I think the
concept.
Cinderday connection was really good. That was a really good connection. I never thought of it that way.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I find it kind of interesting. You said how I never noticed that. Like Mama Seiko, did you notice that too? How she like changed herself when she was faced with the Ursa Minor?
No, actually. I mean, I haven't really seen that episode in a while.
years.
I do remember the events mostly, and now that you mentioned that, I, looking back at my memories, I'm like, oh yeah, I guess she did, and that's not something I even noticed.
Yeah, I think I've only
I
seen that episode twice, which is why now when you say it, it makes me think of y'all have all seen The Dark Knight, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. When
I rode the ride at Six Flags.
wait, you didn't see the movie?
damn.
No,
Oh my
Oh
sorry.
no.
goodness. No. So, okay,
Well,
I'll
okay, when did it come out?
way long
2008.
ago. Yeah, 2008.
Yeah, look, I was probably young. Dude, I was such a snob when I was younger. I was like, if it's not a cartoon, I don't want to watch it.
Oh,
That was me when I was younger. I'm like, if it's not a cartoon, I don't want to watch it. I'm not like that anymore. I mean, I'll definitely come around to watch it, but back
so
on
yeah,
topic with
so you'll
Trixie
watch
though.
it right after this. Yes.
I mean, sure, I don't mind. I'll watch it.
Dang, me and Quinn watched it like a month ago together in my Discord. Watched that one and The Dark Knight
Oh,
Arises. It was so crazy. But in the first movie, in The Dark Knight, Joker says this along the lines of, people in their last moments will show you who they really are. And I think she was scared for her life, and she wasn't thinking about keeping up that facade, like that mask you mentioned. So it's more that when that mask came off, her true self is like not very high self-esteem. I wouldn't say low self-esteem, but not very high confidence in herself, where she feels up to it because she realizes her magic is just mostly illusionary magic. It's not something that can stop a giant beast. Like,
Yeah.
so I guess it kind of like made her feel down in a way.
Yeah, it happens again in season 6 too, the season 6 finale when she realizes. Well, you've seen up to season 6, right?
We've all seen it. Yeah, we've all
Okay.
watched
Oh,
it.
okay. Yeah. Well, it's yeah. Well, when they realize that they escape from the castle with all the changelings in it, then she starts using the first person again, even though she's using her third person thing. And another thing to keep in mind too, it's stated that Starlight is her first and only friend. So this is a very lonely character. Again, because she keeps people away with her, her third personisms and shield. So, you know.
Scooter Tricks, why do you think Starlight and Trixie came together really well as friends?
Well, I think it's expressed in the episode. They both had a dark past, as they put it. And they uh both have a lot of trouble fitting in. Starlight has seemed to be a pretty lonely person. Actually, it's kind of a I don't, I like Starlight. Okay. Um, but it does, because Starlight kind of took over Trixie's arc. So there's like a little bit of a um I have kind of mixed feelings on her because of that. But that would be another reason why both of them would connect, is because they're in a similar situation. Starlight had a quote unquote tragic backstory, and started to make friends, and Trixie's going through the same arc. there. So they have similar pasts, I would say, is like their trust was um broken.
Maybe I feel they connected more in the sense of like part of it also what Mama Seiko said where it's like Starlight's making friends, so she's like, I might as well, start making friends. And this one seems like they want to be a friend, but also it's the fact that Trixie and Starlight are both outsider characters in a way. Like they both don't fit in most social settings in their initial phase. Like Trixie, where she was currently, in Starlight too, they both were kind of like social, not outcasts. I would say just more on the outside. Like when Sunset Shimmer was being reformed and people were still kind of keeping her at a distance. It's kind of like that, which is also why I think she like got so well along with Maud because Maud and her were ponies a few words. Whereas Starlight, she doesn't always like talking. She knows she's awkward and that she'll say something stupid. So she's like not having to talk all the time to just be in the moment is purity for her. And to have that with Trixie where they can talk and say anything they want and she knows she can be awkward because Trixie is freaking awkward that it just makes her feel like she can relate to her.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So.
I can see the relatability part. Cause I'm sure like I feel like the writers looked at Starlight and was like, yeah, this is a pony who's made mistakes, and looked at Trixie and was like, yeah, this is a pony who's made mistakes. Let's make them friends.
I
This
mean,
is a pony mistake. Let's have them.
remember when we talked about earlier how. So it's funny because the reason Twilight can't really tell Trixie off most of the time is because that's her student's friend, and she did tell her make friends. How would it look if she tells off her current best friend and like makes her feel sad? So she kind of has to bite her tongue and let Trixie be a jerk, and Trixie knows this. That's why I love that.
Oh, absolutely. It makes sense. I mean, if Twilight was able to forgive Starlight for her little town or whatever season was that 5? Yeah, I mean, if Twilight was able to forgive Starlight and help her, I suppose it makes sense that she should probably also give Trixie um, the same, what was treatment? Man, I suck with words, but even though she got like that rough pass with Trixie, I guess it makes sense. If she's like, well, I forgave this fascist leader Starlight. I guess I could forgive a jerk like Trixie a little bit, or at least just not say anything about it.
I love that. Yeah, no, she's had her mistakes and flaws, but I don't know. What was one of her biggest flaws early on, like a personality trait?
um, she's kind of annoying. Dang, I feel like she's kind of dumb.
What?
I don't know.
I'm gonna be honest.
She's not the
Oh my
smartest.
god.
A lot of the characters in the show are kind of dumb. I'm gonna be honest. Like,
They are.
True. Um, I don't know. Well, okay, you say early on. One of my okay, so for me, the season 6 finale is like Trixie's like peak. That's peak Trixie. That's like her greatest height. And then after that it's kind of downhill. And a lot of the stuff downhill is like where like one of my least favorite episodes is like the it's the one where they go back to Thorax's hive to convert the rest of his changelings to good changelings. And like Trixie's just like I don't know, she's just like very very dumb, and she says like lots of lines where uh it's set up it's like a setup for oh something dumb is gonna happen, or it's like I'm gonna teleport us, teleport, start, and then they get captured, or or something like that. And I don't know, that's just like it hurts me whenever that happens. But that I feel like that happens in a lot in later seasons. Um,
Oh yeah.
yeah.
I I don't know. Mama Seika, you want to take another one too? Like, what was your, like, what do you feel is her worst quality?
I was gonna say like maybe like just the fact that she is kind of a jerk, but also like that's funny. It's really funny. Like I don't even want to call it
Yes.
a flaw. Like it doesn't even annoy me, bro. It's just funny.
No, that's a plus. You need that.
I'm
Honestly,
I'm looking at more of the perspective of actually being there with her. So it's like, let's say she was treating you like she was being a jerk to you.
Ah, no, here's the thing though. Okay. See, Trixie, I like to think of it at least, is that Trixie's pretty mean and nasty to her enemies or people she doesn't like. But to her friends, she's uber supportive, and that meanness and savageness is used in service of them. So, and that's why she works great as like a redeemed villain. Is like, she's kind of like the Zuko or the Vegeta in a way, where it's like she's got that attitude, but then it's like, oh, but it's on our side, and it's kind of fun. Then you're like, ah, this is great. She uses it on
yeah.
Grogar or
See,
whoever. So
Yeah.
absolutely.
I mean, I kind of get that. And it, like, one thing I realized playing back in with what you said once again about the mask, I think she does it more because not only she realizes her skills are more for show, she also likes the attention she gets. Because if she definitely didn't have any friends before, it's the fact that all this attention she gets is to fill that hole in her heart where a friend should be. So that, but yeah, her, to me, her worst quality was definitely being a jerk. But if you think about it, I think it is more of a response how she acted towards them. Because remember, she came to town, she put on a show, they started complaining, and they started to upshow her. Like they try to say, oh, she's just literally trying to put on a show. And she's got these hecklers in the front, the main six. And
yeah,
and she's like, I'm trying to do my show here. And they come up to try to one up her, and she ones up them. She's literally doing what any even comedian would do
yeah,
there, like taking care of hecklers. And yet
no, yeah,
somehow,
that's fine.
she's the bad guy. Like honestly, I think the villains in that
Oh wow.
episode. Oh wow, what?
No, just what you said. I never thought of it that way.
Yeah. Like if you
I
think
Oh
of
never
yeah,
thought of
that's
it that way. Why
that
is she
that
seen as a bad guy? Bro, she's just putting on a show.
yeah, that's a
yeah.
big criticism of that episode is the mean the mean six. The main six come off as the mean six in that one, where yeah,
Honestly.
they just
Yeah.
go after her for no reason.
Yeah, even at the end when she ran off, like she's like, "Oh, they ran me out of town." Nobody ran you out of town. You weren't even the main villain. The main villain was like Snips and Snails for bringing that thing into the village.
Yeah.
Oh my god, you're right. We should execute them.
Whoa, okay, not that.
Well, you can take out Snips.
What? No. I mean, Snail is pretty.
Oh
Snails kind
man.
of got cool by the end, but Snips.
Yeah, no.
Dude, which one was Snips? Was that the tall one?
No, it's
No,
the
that was the
short,
short one, right?
short one.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Think of Snails as slow. He speaks so slow.
Oh, you're right. You're right, you're right.
Yeah. So yeah, no, he did get based in that episode where they had the hoofball, like
Yeah.
or hoof. What is it? Yeah, buckball. That's
I
it.
know what you're talking.
Yeah.
Yeah, Buck. Yeah.
He got really good at it. I'm like, okay, that's cool. Which, mind you, I do play when I go to conventions. So if they have it
Oh,
at
nice.
BabsCon, I am facing
Oh
you
man.
in buckball.
Dude, when I saw them playing Buckball at Cider Fest this past year, I was like, whoa! That was my first time at any kind of pony convention. So when I saw Buckball being played, like I was watching from the hotel room floor, just looking down at the lobby. I was like, whoa, they're actually playing Buckball.
Yeah, I wish I would have done it this time because I did it at Winnie City and we won third place. I had a okay team, but yeah, I wanted to play. But yeah, okay, back on track though. But yeah, no, Trixie was not a villain in that episode. she was a villain when she came back, and I think she felt. So I think when she came back and she was mad, of course she was like polluted by the amulet. I think ultimately why she felt such anger is because the one thing she was best at, she felt that she was like they hurt her in that department of this is how she gets her attention, and they kind of took that away from her. So she felt, I guess, hurt by that. And in the end, it wasn't anybody's fault. It's just her thoughts and all that. But yeah, no, she should not have kidnapped them. I'm pretty sure she should have gotten prison time for that. But apparently, they don't do prison time in Ponyville or whatever. I don't know.
Well, they do, but
Wait, when?
oh, the Tartarus, throwing people into Tartarus.
I guess, but
Oh yeah.
I guess that's for extreme crimes. Other than that, it's like, you littered. Who
If you
cares?
take over a town, it's that's slap on the hoof. Nah, don't do
Especially,
that again.
I'm telling you, man, execution. They live in that time period. They might as well.
they might as well. I oh, what I'm gonna bring this up real quick. A side note.
Guillotines are cannons. So.
This side note. Um, Not to mention Fluttershy was scared to get locked up in Celestia's dungeon. I'm like, we she has a dungeon? Okay, but yeah, but in a
Oh, have
question.
we seen the dungeon?
No, that's the thing.
We
We
never
haven't.
saw her dungeon.
It's Fluttershy
Oh
just
my
brings it
god.
up. That's it. But we don't know what's down there. We don't know what she does to them. We can speculate, but no. Um, in Equestria Girls, you remember? I don't know if y'all seen it. There's a short where a guy steals jewelry from a jewelry store and runs away, and the main six are chasing him the whole time.
I have not seen this short.
What? Okay, we gotta get
I'm not sure
y'all.
I have either.
I gotta get y'all on because they have the full list of shorts all on YouTube.
Maybe you just made it up.
I did not. Anyway, no. It's a real one. I gotta show y'all. But yeah, this guy stole jewelry from a store, and when they finish chasing him, Sunset grabs his arm and sees that he did it for a girl. She's like, you don't have to steal to impress her. And then something else is said, and then Rainbow Dash is like, yeah, but you can think about it in jail. And it's like they lock. I'm like,
Uh,
so this guy merely steals jewelry. Y'all tell him he's got to go to jail. But literally, y'all had one of your classmates try to kidnap everybody, brainwash them. The Dazzlings brainwashed everybody. You got that one girl that wiped your memory. You've got the one that tried to kill all the kids essentially in Camp Everfree. Freaking Twilight magicking up, which I guess isn't her fault. We could let her slide, I guess. The point is, they had many more criminals to tackle, and the rest of them they let go. Why? Why is it?
they had to rebuild the school.
They they had to rebuild the school.
I think it wasn't Sunset. That was her punishment. She had to rebuild
Yeah, but once again, she literally didn't face jail time for that. The
community service.
Yeah, the Dazzlings got away. That girl from Everfree got away. The one who stole Sunset's memory, which I guess isn't a crime. I don't know. Like,
There's no laws about it.
uh,
If you give me the law about stealing people's memories,
and then in movie Magic, where that girl like took all that power and was like destroying the mall and all that, like all this, and none of them get caught. But the guy who steals jewelry and in Camp Everfree, what is the guy who's rich? He got arrested too. I'm like, why are these normal dudes going to jail, but these characters that like power up, hurt people, kidnap them, almost kill them, and brainwash them? Nah, they don't get
show
jail time.
me, show me a law about stealing souls. Okay, there isn't one. Therefore, no prison.
Is there? Is there? Mama Seiko would know. Mama Seiko loves souls. Mama Seiko, is there a law about that?
What are you talking about? What do you mean souls?
You love souls.
Or the
What are you referencing right now?
there's no
You.
law. Isn't that what they do in the Rainbow Rocks? Is they're taking people's or they're well, I guess they're just mind controlling. Is it illegal No. Therefore, no prison. Okay?
Well,
There you
So,
go.
I guess like my idea was completely squashed. Okay, they don't get jail time. They get a slap on the wrist and say, "Be better, be nice," and they're like, "Okay." Guess I have to.
Which were they? Because I remember you put on the short where like Sunset was in like a time loop, like the Equestria Girls short.
Oh, the backstage pass.
And
Yeah,
didn't yeah, didn't we see them? Were they
yeah,
like
they were in there.
being yeah, were they being little buttholes or like were
They
they
were.
like actually like kind of better? I don't remember.
They were just doing their own thing. They weren't good or bad. They were just literally doing their own thing. They were kind of a cameo to like, oh, Dazzlings again because people love them, and they were literally doing nothing but just touring with their band. That's it.
Right, so I mean I guess they aren't doing anything bad anymore, so that's good.
But they did. They literally enslaved an entire class for like a little while. I'm pretty sure brainwashing
I
people
said
might be
anymore.
any. Okay,
Anymore.
I
That's what I meant. They're not doing anything bad anymore, right?
I'm literally not robbing this store anymore. I already did it, but I'm not doing it anymore. I promise. Yeah, right. It's no law against it. I guess that's. Uh, but yeah, we trailed off from Trixie. It's okay.
such a Trixie.
Yeah, yeah, that character we were
Hey,
talking about.
Uh,
Trixie.
yeah. Yeah, just general basics here. Trixie is a killer design. Very iconic.
Yeah,
One of the few
100%.
characters that wears clothes. Great voice. Kathleen Bard does a fantastic job with Trixie. She's very fun to quote and imitate. Um, and then I do like her personality. I mean, I said before back in the interview, like it's fun when the ponies are a little mean to each other and they do little quips at each other. And Trixie's perfect for that. And it was kind of a little bit of a breath of fresh air in later seasons when all the characters are much more understanding and nice towards each other. And then Trixie's over like, I have a whole list of problems with your friends. We'll go over it in the morning. Like that kind of stuff.
Hmm.
Um, I think it's good to have um fun little characters like that. And then her getting I mean, she's kind of pathetic and she gets thwarted all the time. So she gets punished for being mean. So it's all good.
Yeah, I guess in ways karma kind of catches up with her, but I guess after she like started being better, then good things started happening, like Starlight and having these new positions and jobs and actually getting to kind of get along with the main six and other characters. And I think she was being finally rewarded for actually realizing, like, just try to be a good person and good people will come to you. People will want to be friends with you.
Yeah.
And I guess now that I think about it, that episode, y'all remember the episode All Bottled Up, right?
Yes.
Um,
What was that one about?
It's the one where her Starlight's emotions got bottled up.
yeah, Trixie was being
I
a
think
Oh,
so.
sorry. Sorry.
Trixie was being a jerk
Yeah,
the
yeah,
whole
yeah.
time, and Starlight just kept having to suppress her emotions in a literal bottle because she like kept wanting to, like, you could see in her eyes, strangle Trixie. Like, what's wrong with you? But I mean, you can kind of understand why they're both doing what they do in that episode. Like Trixie, she's once again, this is her first friend. She's not gonna know how to act properly all the time. She's got to kind of learn. She's taking
That's
those.
right.
Yeah. Whereas Starlight, she's also kind of new to having friends. She has to learn how to express her emotions. She wants to bottle it because she feels like in the past her emotions have caused so much issues and she's let it get the best of her. So she's like, I might as well just, not react. And she didn't realize that you just have to find a healthy way to express how you feel, not bottle it up.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So we were talking about the crime thing. If What crime would Trixie be most prone to committing?
Ooh,
Uh,
Tax fraud. Tax fraud.
Tax fraud. Why do you say so excitedly?
I don't know. I love tax fraud. For legal reasons, this is a joke.
For legal reasons, I do not know who this is once again. She just came into the call. I can't unadd her. I don't know. She hacked my Discord.
Yeah, I hacked myself into this Discord call, 100%.
Yeah. What about you, Scooter? Tricks.
um. Yeah. Probably something along the same line. I was thinking something like loitering or something, or like she's like, because she travels around, so maybe she like goes into a parking spot that she's not supposed to be in, or something like that. I don't know.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I think it would be destruction of property, because for the simple fact that I don't think she would like to confront others, but she would find a way to get back at them. So she would probably, and it wouldn't even be like arson or something, because she feels that's too extreme. She'd probably
Mm.
like do destruction, like like let's say she was mad at Twilight. She would probably like hit her mailbox like over and over, or take it out the ground and steal it, or even better, she would steal her mail like over literally every day. See the mail come in, steal one piece of mail. So Twilight like keeps missing just one piece of mail every day.
It's gonna be like the most important piece of mail.
That's Trixie right there. She'd be petty in the weirdest way to inconvenience Twilight. She's like,
Well, 100%.
she's like, where's my rash cream?
Bro, dude, her lights are gonna go out. Twilight. Dude, Twilight's lights are gonna go out. It's because Trixie keeps stealing like the the letter that tells Twilight the bill and all that. Keeps stealing the electric bill mail.
Oh, even worse. So I don't know if Twilight does, because I keep saying Twilight literally came from Celestia's Castle. She has unlimited funds. She has like tax money. So if not, imagine instead of the electricity, she keeps stealing her like rent money that she keeps putting in the mail to send off. And that's how Trixie makes her income. She steals people's rent money.
Jesus.
That's crazy. But I still think she'll do tax fraud, bro. She doesn't care who the IRS sends. She is not paying taxes.
the the great and plentiful Trixie.
But she uses roads every day.
She
Exactly.
does
need
not
those
pay the
taxes
toll.
paid
She'll take the long
so I
way
can
around.
go.
Yeah. No, I think she
Takes
might.
a scenic route.
I think she might actually try to seduce whoever's at the toll booth and fail, and then she'll have to take the long way around.
I feel like her way of seduction is talking about how great she is, and no one finds that attractive. It's like, how could you not want to let me, the great and powerful Trixie, pass through the tollway for free? Listen, lady, you gotta pay the toll.
I just work here.
Like, I just work here, man.
Imagine her at a grocery store. Like, imagine her at Walmart. She's buying like she's buying her favorite like I don't know, cereal or something. She's buying like what would be her favorite cereal too? Like I don't know. She strikes me as like a Lucky Charms kind of gal.
I was actually thinking that, yeah.
It's the outfit. It's
Yeah,
the outfit.
definitely is.
But like, no, but it's like generic brand Lucky Charms.
Exactly. So she goes to the counter. She's like, "How dare the store give great and powerful Trixie the audacity of hiking up the price of my favorite lucky horseshoes?" It's literally all just horseshoes. She's like, "Now Trixie has to buy the generic brand."
It's all marshmallows.
Trixie is like an awesome character in many ways, but there's also, yeah, we identified flaws. Now, I would say what is one of her most redeeming qualities that we've seen after she like in like season 5 and 6 and all that, or was it 6? I think it was 6. Yeah.
Season 6 is her height.
All right. So yeah, starting at season 6, what was her best redeeming quality?
Oh, she's funny. She's funny.
That was your
Yeah, it's
first
kind
one.
of. Well,
I
no, what?
know.
It's like, yeah, I mean, it's kind of like her personality. It's just on, like season 6 finale, right? She's very, like, yeah, it's just her personality. Like in the season 6 finale, she's a good friend when she needs to be. She's heroic when she needs to be. Um, she has a ton of really fun little quips at people. She does a jab at Twilight, does a couple jabs at Discord. She's funny. She's funny, supportive, just like perfect all around. It's
Dang, why
great.
don't you marry her? This guy.
She's already. Oh, well, I guess she doesn't really get anyone with at the end of the series.
So there's potential. Okay. No, all right. So for me, I feel like during season 6 and after, Trixie kind of did a transformation in realizing herself and her purpose. Like from earlier episodes before season 6, she didn't really have a purpose. She just traveled. She just did entertainment, and it wasn't even good because it's like she kind of wasn't aware of her personality and certain things she did that made people feel put off. I feel like having a friend like Starlight finally enter her life, she started making slower and slower changes towards realizing what was more important is others and not herself. I mean, she had a purpose of now also like be not, as you said, being heroic. Part of her purpose was realizing that what she does isn't useless, that it's not just, it can be very useful actually. It helps save the day, that people actually will like her if she changes some things but still keeps true to who she is. And I think that's the most important thing. She was lacking purpose, and now that she's found it, others see her in such a good light, even to the point of her feeling enthusiastic, not about being in a show or, showing others how much she's humble. Her most enthusiastic moment in those seasons was trying to become what was it? I think a teacher or the assistant therapist. What was it? Or counselor?
She was the counselor in the
Yeah.
end.
She wanted to be the assistant counselor though. That's what it was cuz Starlight needed an assistant, right?
Think so.
I'm not as familiar with later seasons. I think it was like she wanted to be a teacher, but then because of her incompetence, Starlight made her the a student counselor because she stood up for Gallus that one time.
I think that's what it might have been, maybe. I just remember that I love how enthusiastic she was about helping others to the point it infuriated her that she couldn't do it sooner or at the position she wanted, because I think she could really teach others and be great actually at like a magic class of her own, like teaching kids about traveling and illusion magic and probably bargaining because she has to buy generic cereal brands. Like, she has knowledge. She has knowledge, and definitely the purpose of realizing that it's not always going to be her way, especially with that road trip episode they took. That was peak content for them. It truly was.
I don't know because again, like we don't really get a good sense of who Trixie is until like season 6, honestly, because the first episode, like I said, she's got the mask on. That the second episode she's in, she's under the influence of the alicorn amulet. So it's kind of hard to see, like, for me at least, what changed about her, or what she's like, what she's good at. I'd say like during the traveling episode, I guess we get a sense of like how she prepares for trips, and like maybe she's good at budgeting or planning, I guess.
Hmm.
But I don't know, when it comes to like magic, she seems very incompetent a lot. I say this as a Trixie fan, okay, but it's like she seems like
What does
really
she
bad
do
at
normally?
even, huh?
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. You finish your thought, and I'll ask my question after.
Oh, well, because she seems to, because that's always like the gag is like, oh, she's actually not good at magic at all, or even like stage fake magic, because she keeps messing up on like everything. But then again, I don't know. There's like the one guy from Saudi Arabia seemed to like it, so I don't know. But every other time, it's we just see her incompetence a lot.
I mean, she might be good if she's not heckled.
Yeah, no, yeah, she's not very good at Well, I don't know. Maybe on stage she's better because of the whole that first episode, but I don't know.
Mama Seiko, you had a thought.
Yeah, when we were talking about the incompetence of her magic, I was trying to remember like the magic that she did. Like what did she do? Whether it be
Yeah.
during one of her shows or whether it be like an actual situation, like with the she did the whole thing with the changelings, right? Like she had a whole thing there as well. Like whether it be like her little stage show or like for realsies, like what I'm trying to remember like what she did with her magic. What is her magic? What does it usually do? What does she do?
She's a performer. Like as I said, we did not see her performance except in the first, what was it, first season or second, one of those. We when we first saw her, that was the first performance we saw. The next one was in Saddle Arabia or whatever they call it, and when they went on the road trip. Literally, that's the only shows we saw her perform. And
Well, it
she,
Well,
doesn't have to be a
episode.
performance, just like what she did in general. Is it just like illusionary stuff?
yeah, like a stage magician.
Okay.
Yeah.
See,
Yeah,
okay,
a lot
so
of it's like
if we go back
fireworks.
to a way earlier thought by Scooter Tricks, about her having potential, um, illusionary magic can be very OP, and I'm saying this out of my experience watching the Owl House. Have you guys seen the Owl House?
No.
Yes, I
Yeah,
have. Yeah.
who said yes? You have. Do you remember that episode with Gus and his illusionary magic? And he was like, "Bro, illusion magic sucks." And the old guy was like, "No, it's not. It does not suck." And he was like, "Oh, cool. Yeah, I see what you mean about potential. I feel like illusionary magic can be very epic, but also circling back to um the claim about her incompetence, yeah, no, for sure. I don't remember where I was going with this. I just really wanted to make the Owl House connection with illusionary magic.
In the first episode that she's in, the idea works because basically her show seems to be like a bunch of illusions, light, fireworks, that kind of like a lot of bright and sparkly things to dazzle an audience, basically. And I kind of like this on like a sub level because it's like, oh, it's just a bunch of little earth ponies, and they probably don't see magic that much in their little town. So to them, it's like, wow, this is great. While it wouldn't impress like actual unicorns, but it would impress these guys. Um, and it's basically a you're demonstrating. It's like demonstrating like the beauty of magic. Basically, is what Trixie is doing. The problem though for me is when it gets into like in season 6, she starts doing like human magic tricks. And the problem I have with this is that the reason why human magic tricks are so appealing and interesting is because like let's say a guy pulls a rabbit out of an empty hat. This is something that is not possible. There's a disconnect in your mind where you're like, wait a minute, how did he pull a rabbit out of an empty? We saw it. The hat was empty. How did this happen? While in Equestria, in this is a world where magic is a concept. Where like they pull a rabbit out of an empty hat, they're like, oh, well, they just use magic. There's no mystery to it. So when she starts
Right.
doing card tricks, or I guess the whole finale where she's like, like talking to Twilight, and Twilight's like, "Wow, I can't believe you did a trick like that. I could never do a trick like that, Trixie." I'm like, "Yeah, you did. You did it yesterday. You teleport all the time. What do you mean?" So it's sort of like it's kind of weird how they morph it in later seasons. But I don't know. That's just my thoughts on the whole magic side. And then it just goes to show like later, like she doesn't know how to transform things or teleport things. Like this is like new stuff to her. So it over time it just comes off as like well, because it's like you establish her in the beginning. It's like, oh, what if your special talent is magic? That's kind of what she's implied to be. Is like, oh, this really powerful unicorn. But really, like, she can't really do actual magic all that well, from the looks of it. But I don't know.
No, you're cooking. You're cooking. Like, to me, what you said, it's like she's putting on kind of a fashion show in a sense. Because, as you said, they got magic in that world, but it's more showing it off. And I think also her personality actually fits with the performance. So she's got like this, she's got a presence. And it's like if, yeah, you have seen Megamind, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
At that point where he's fighting the guy who turns evil, and he's like, you don't know how to be a villain. You need to know how to make an entrance, and makes a grand entrance. Like, it's that kind of personality that really truly makes great people also. Not the only thing, but a part of it, because you got to know how to put on a show. And that's her job. That's her cutie mark is,
She's got the showmanship. Yeah.
yeah.
Basically, it would fix this whole, I guess, the whole Trixie problem. Basically, both her incompetence in magic and, I feel like would also make her story just 10 times more interesting. And it would, I mean, it's not like something where you can interpret it. It would be like, oh, if the show, like you make this one change to her in the show, and suddenly like all this stuff becomes possible and really interesting. And it's the idea of what if you made Trixie an Earth pony,
Oh.
not a unicorn?
And she did
Because
illusion magic still?
Oh.
Like she did
yeah,
illusion
and she did
tricks?
illusion magic still. Yeah,
See, then that would be really that'd be really interesting. Like, well,
yeah,
how is this
Oh.
Earth Pony pulling magic rabbits out of magic cats? That's crazy.
Hmm.
exactly. There's an initial intrigue, and it improves like every episode that she's in. So first episode, you know, they're like, "Oh, you gotta check this out. There's this pony doing magic down the street. I do magic all the time. It's an Earth pony." Wait,
Hmm.
what? What do you mean? You go down, sure enough, she's pulling rabbits out of empty hats and doing card tricks. She knows exactly the card that you picked. She's sawing someone in half, and they're like, how is this possible? What's going on? You know,
She's
and
sawing
then
someone in half, except it actually is sawing someone in half.
yeah,
I'm sorry.
that's
No.
Continue.
No.
well, guillotines are yeah.
Sorry.
No.
But
Whoa.
then the whole fraud angle, um, come hits lot harder because she's not really magical. It's like those are just tricks. When something like real happens, it's like use your magic, do that thing that you did to the sawing the pony in half, saw the Ursa Minor in half. She's like, that was just a trick. I can't do I can't do anything, And so then she's humiliated because it's like then it's revealed that she's a fraud, and when it comes to like so then she runs away, and then yeah, so then I don't know. You see, this is where it gets fan fictiony here, but this is where you'd have some sort of backstory where maybe when Trixie was a kid, she went and saw a magic show. Maybe something like what Trixie does, where it's like a lot of lights and magic and smoke and mirrors and all that kind of stuff. And it's all about like the beauty of magic, and she's like, wow. And right there and then in the show, she gets her cutie mark in magic. One problem: she's an Earth pony. She can't do magic. So she's kind of stuck with this conundrum of like, well, what am I going to do? This is what I want to do. How do I do this? And basically and if you're feeling crazy, maybe she kind of invents the idea of like doing practical magic tricks or like non-magical magic tricks where it looks like it's magic, but it's not. And maybe that's where Trick comes from, is her name, if you're feeling crazy, but that, but then so kind of over time she gets better and better at it. Um, and and then she becomes more and more confident in herself, but then at the same time she also has a sort of envy and resentment to unicorns, because to them it's so easy, and they just have, they can just do magic, and they don't know how easy they have it, and she kind of not a racist thing, but she's like, she just doesn't like unicorns. So then in season 1, with this context now, in that episode where now Trixie doesn't, she failed to solve the Ursa Minor problem, when like we need a real magician here. Twilight comes in, the unicorn comes in, absolutely pisses Trixie off, and she's like, damn it, I have to like do actual magic. And so then you do the alicorn amulet episode, and let's say the amulet like gives the wearer magic, so it's not enhanced, it just gives the wearer magic, still corrupts him. um so now Trixie has everything she's ever wanted. Now she actually does magic, the thing's corrupting her. The episode kind of plays out the same way, but then the way that she's defeated in the end, it happens the same way, where the only way for her to take off the amulet is she has to take it off herself. So Twilight tricks her, and she pretends to do a bunch of magic. So basically, she defeats Trixie by using Trixie's own game against her. And so now Trixie has been completely crushed on like both of these points. And in the process, Twilight's kind of shown Trixie, I guess, this kernel of knowledge, which is what the real magic of the world is, which is friendship. She used her friends to help her defeat Trixie. And that's the one thing Trixie doesn't have. She doesn't have friends or anything. So then you have your third episode of her arc with Starlight. Starlight would be a great first friend because she's a unicorn. She has a lot in common with Trixie. And then that episode would probably play out the same kind of way. But that would be sort of the general arc, maybe, of the Earth Pony Trixie. And then it even works better with other episodes, too, like the season 6 finale, where they have to go to the place where you can't use magic. Now Trixie goes from not just one of the only people who can help, but one of the best people who can help, because her powers are unhindered. And maybe she like does a bunch of her magic tricks in front of the changelings, and they start freaking out, because it's like, wait a minute, if she's doing magic, then that means the throne's destroyed. So then the changelings go to check on the throne, and that's, Starlight and Thorax go and follow them to go, that's how they find the throne. And that, you make that Trixie sacrifice. So I don't know, something along those lines would be like the Trixie Earth Pony arc, and that's how I think that would make that character better.
I really like that
Yeah, you
idea.
should have been a writer on that show. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You,
if you were actually a writer on that show, you would have greatly improved Trixie. Like, so much. Oh my god.
I mean, I actually do have an idea that you gave me from that. So here's one thing I never understood. I thought that Trixie made Starlight her assistant just because it felt nice having a friend help her on the show. But imagine, as you said, if she was an Earth Pony, the reason why Starlight was the perfect assistant is because magic Trixie can't do. That's like, she's very limited to what she can do because she's an Earth Pony. Starlight behind the scenes does the magic for her. So it's actually her assistant now.
Yeah.
Okay, we're cooking.
Yeah, and then also, like, a side note, it also solves the Trixie incompetency problem, because she's not incompetent now. Everything she does is super impressive because she's not a unicorn and she can't do magic. So, yeah,
I like that. Yeah, that was a good theory. All right,
yeah. Well, it's kind of a rewrite, I guess, but it was never gonna. It wasn't like on the cards or anything. It's not like, oh, the show should have done this, because it's like, no one would have thought of that. It's just sort of a retrospective, like, this would have been so cool. So maybe one day I'll do a show of my own, and we'll have a Trixie-like character that doesn't do magic, but does something along those lines and follows a similar arc, maybe.
I like that. But yeah, but
I really like that.
Oh, thank you.
so
I
yeah,
like Trixie, so that this is what I'm saying about, like, I really like the potential of Trixie. I still like the character herself, but the reason I really really like her is because she's so fun to think about, and there's so many things you can do with her. So
Okay, so
I agree.
after everything we've discussed, I want to ask each one of you. So first, Scooter Tricks. First, has your opinion on Trixie at all changed in any way? Have you learned anything new today?
Hmm. I don't think so. Um, some things to think about. I need to watch her in later seasons again. Maybe I've been too harsh on her in later season. I need to look at what changed in her in the end, how her character. I don't know. That just got me thinking of like how much did she change after her redemption.
You think you'll be doing a watch party on that where you'll like post it to Twitter to say, "Hey, watching it on here, here, here. Come watch
Scooter
it with me."
Tricks watches Trixie
Exactly. It
in the
actually
I
shower.
sounds.
mean, I
I'm
would
just
join.
kidding. No.
Yeah.
I would join. Hey, promote this interview while you're at it.
With yeah, totally.
All right. Now, Mama Seiko, has your opinion on Trixie changed at all?
I think so. I think so. Yeah. Mainly because I have met a lot of Trixie stands in my life, and I never really saw the appeal that much. I'm like, yeah, she's funny. Yeah, I'll give her that. But after having this whole conversation about Trixie, and especially that whole thing with her potential and that whole idea of her being a hearse pony, I'm like, oh my god, yeah. I mean, I guess Trixie is just a little bit more deeper than I initially thought she was, and I think part of that was because I was watching the show when I was like in middle school slash high school. I wasn't as big into character writing and storytelling and all that as I am now at the age that I'm at. Which I'll be like 23 this year, by the way. And looking back at all this stuff about Trixie, I'm like, wow, I damn, call me a Trixie stan too.
Excellent. Yes.
I,
Yes, this
I,
is good.
I will admit, all right, while you're like getting super into that, people now are like into Trixie.
She has gained a
uh,
following over the years. It's been kind of nice. I'm kind of surprised that she has gotten more popular.
Dang, the Trixie cult is real. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, I feel like honestly after today, I feel like her charm has kind of more brightened me. Like it's a revelation for me of she's had a lot go on and she's actually deeper than I thought. There's a lot more to her. And maybe she is a character that needs to be explored a lot more when it comes to maybe her past or where she's going or even her psyche to see, what's going on in that head of hers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll also recommend the that kindness is reward.
A
That
fan,
fan fiction,
oh,
the Flutter Tricks fic.
yeah, if I could find it, I will link it also in the description.
Yeah. And then yeah, if we're plugging stuff too, I'll throw out well, I guess the channel's kind of destroyed right now, but I feel like Tamers does a pretty good job with Trixie. Um and then actually the very first Turnabout Storm I thought did Trixie pretty well in terms of the cracking of the shell idea, where at the very end of that, that's what they were it's like after the case is I guess spoilers on the case, but after the case is over, Phoenix is like, "Wow, you did a really good job on the trial. I thought you had me for a couple times there, you know." And Trixie's like, "Yeah, well, I lost. Whatever. You're stupid, you know." And she keeps on like digging into him, but he doesn't fight back. He just sort of compliments her, and Trixie doesn't know how to deal with this. So she just starts to like, she starts to like kind of like not be hostile and just sort of talks with him, and you see like this shell cracking. They don't have her shell crack completely, by the end, but it's like you can see that he's like making headway, and she's like opening up a little bit because she just she doesn't know what to do with him. So I don't know. It's just stuff like that. Those are probably my favorite Trixie media that I've seen in fan works.
All right. Thank you, both of you, for joining us today. Everything we've talked about today, if it is found, it will be posted below in the description. And yeah, this was a deep dive on Trixie. This is the My Little Pony podcast. Tune in next time where we talk about, I don't know what, apparently kissing Celestia all over. Apparently that was brought up earlier.
Hey yo.
Yeah,
Hey yo.
it got wild earlier.
Every Sunday.
Damn. So about that dungeon that Celestia has. What kind of dungeon is it?
Okay, maybe that's the next episode.
It's a kissing dungeon. That's what happened.
What kind of dungeon does she have, huh?
We'll talk about that after. Anyway, thank you everybody for joining us. Once again, this was Scooter Tricks.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Yeah, it was a pleasure. And Mama Seiko.
Thank you for having me as well.
You just came into call. You hacked your way in, remember?
Oh yeah, sorry.
No,
I forgot.
Thanks for
So
coming.
yeah, thank
Mama
yourself
Seiko.
for coming in. Yeah.
Thank you for real, Mama Seiko. I'll have her back on another time as well as Scooter Tricks, hopefully. And I have been Silverstream. You all take care.
Do I sound like Cadence? Do I sound like anyone? Any pony?
No, but I have an idea for where like Cadence is sneaking with Sombra. I find it funny. Yeah.
Damn.
And then it turns out Shining Armor was sneaking around with Sombra as well.
What?